Hi guys, Michelle here, and I want to give you 5 easy steps to make your drawings more realistic so that you can come out with a product that you're really proud of. You can find more tutorials on my Patreon channel. I'll leave the link below in the description. But for today, I'm going to show you how I created this hyper-realistic Doritos bag in Polychromos color pencils and Ohuhu alcohol markers. So no matter what medium you're going to be using, whether it's color pencil, oil, pastel, marker, acrylic, watercolor, it really doesn't matter. You're going to use these same 5 steps to up your game on your hyper-realistic drawings and paintings. So let's get on with step number 1. You want to use a really high contrast, good quality reference photo that has some really good shadows, good strong highlights, and a good range of value. Step 2 is you want to have all your materials ready for use right next to you. Your erasers, if you're going to use solvent, you'll need brushes, an X-Acto knife, a white acrylic marker, a jelly roll pen for highlights, whatever materials you're going to need. Then you want to have really sharp pencils to start with. So you want to sharpen all of your pencils and swatch them out and have them ready to go right next to you. The swatch process is really the most important. It sets you up for success for the rest of your drawing, especially when you're using alcohol markers. The barrel of the marker and the point isn't necessarily how it's going to look when it's dry and when it's down on the paper. So it's really important to swatch those out. And I do kind of a gradient, so I go over in the beginning several times so you know how dark you can get that marker to look and how light you can get it to look. And I do the same with my pencils. And this way you really know what you're getting. You put the numbers next to it, and then you can just pull that pencil when you feel that you need it in the drawing. It really, really is important to set yourself up for success and have all that ready to go before you start drawing. And then the last thing I do is I work on some gradients. So in this case, I'm using mixed media and I'm putting the color pencil over the marker. So I want to see how that's going to look when we get to the drawing. So I'm using various markers and various pencils to get my different shades and transitions. Once you're happy with your color choices and your blends, the next phase is to have a really good, accurate sketch. Now, when you're drawing a hyper-realistic food item, especially a branded one, you want to make sure that your lettering is pretty precise. So whether you need to trace that logo or whatever you need to do, just make sure that it's precise and it will add to the hyper-realistic look at the end of your drawing. If your letters are kind of askew, it's going to look funny and it's not going to have that realistic effect when you're done. I'm using a permanent black fine liner marker for my wording, and this way I can really control the preciseness of the lettering. And then I'm going over with some colored pencil to get that logo to look really realistic. I'm going to start into my bag with my lightest color blue, and this is why it's so important to swatch all those out ahead of time so that you know, if you start too dark, you're not going to be able to lighten it up even if you put white color pencil over it. So you want to start with the lightest blues that you swatched out and then keep building it up gradually, and this way you're going to get a really nice realistic look. And I do this with pretty much all the colors. I call this color mapping. And then we're just going to keep building on that as we go along. Now I'm going to go in with my mid-tone and map in where the shadowy areas on the bag are. And like I said, we're going to build this up slowly and gradually. So we're going to get a good base layer down, and then we're going to start to go in with our details with our colored pencil. I'll put a card above for those of you who are new to alcohol markers, and it's just a video on blending alcohol markers and the basics of it. So you can really get more than one tone out of each marker, and that's the more you go over it, the deeper the shade's going to get. It'll be the same tone, but it gets a little bit deeper. So just refer to that video, and that might help you along your way as you're trying to do this Doritos packet. You'll start to see why our blending test before we even started was so important. It really does help you along your journey as you're trying to finish this piece, because we've already done our homework. So we've already tested out our pencils and our markers, and we're just going to keep building all that up. And we know that this was successful because we already did our swatch in the beginning. So really, everything that you can do ahead of time is going to prepare yourself for a better finished product. So my reference photo had a double shadow, or a cast shadow. So the shadow closest to the bag was a little darker, and then there was a little cast shadow after that in a lighter gray. And this just really adds to the realism of the piece. And just keep referring back to that reference image and see where you need to change a value, or you need to make something darker, or you need to pop a highlight. So keep referring back to that reference photo. If you need to step away and put some fresh eyes back on it, that's always helpful as well. The advantage to using a alcohol marker base is it covers up the white graininess of the paper, and this way you're not disturbing the tooth, and you can put several layers of color pencil over top without any of that little white speck showing through. It also speeds up your color pencil drawings, and you can really build a really rich final product by layering these two mediums. You can also use a watercolor base or any other color base that you like. Sometimes you can use pastels, but I prefer the marker. It's very easy to use. It has a chisel point and a fine point, so you can get a certain amount of detail, but you can also cover a large area fairly quickly. So try using different mediums and try different things. You can see how vibrant the colors can get as you layer gradually as you go. So you want to really build up those layers slowly, and this will give you a really blended, beautiful finished product. For full-length tutorials, you can check out my Patreon channel, where I give you full-length videos of a lot of these projects and things you won't see on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description below. It would mean the world to me if you guys would subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new tutorials. I put out a new one every week. Give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment below in the comment section. I love hearing from each and every one of you, and I do get back to all of you. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and happy art.